Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to have you here at Sundance,
Thanks.
London. Well,
Nice
you're
to
part
meet
of
you.
the framework. Maybe you could just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your role here at the festival.
My name is Anthony Bregman. I am a producer based in the U.S. I produced Nicole Holofcener's film "You Hurt My Feelings," which is premiering here on Sunday, and I'm also doing the keynote on Friday.
Amazing. And why do you think that Sundance, itself, film festivals, but particularly bringing some of the best of that festival here to London is so important?
The world's market for these films are international. And Sundance does a great job, probably the best of any place in the world, of taking a movie and showing who the audience can be and how it can work and where. Yeah, and Sundance does that in Utah in January every year, and then those films go out into the world. And a film like "You Hurt My Feelings" has been released in the U.S. already, but it hasn't hit most of the world yet, and now it's kind of coming out to the rest of the world. And Sundance supporting it all around the world, starting here in London, is a huge service to the movie, and kind of showing that movie alongside all these other great films that have also premiered at Sundance is a great way to show what the U.S. indie world has to offer.
Tell us a bit about You Hurt My Feelings. What can people expect from watching the film?
You Hurt My Feelings is a comedy taking place in New York, starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Tobias Menzies, and it's the kind of upscale, fun, sophisticated urban comedies that you don't see anymore, and particularly you don't see in cinemas. And it's about a writer that Julia Louis-Dreyfus plays, who's written a novel and that she's shown to her husband about 20 different drafts of, and who she's kind of figuring out how to get it out there in the world. And her husband Tobias she overhears her husband talking to his best friend about how he actually thinks it's not very good, and what it does to their relationship and what it does to her confidence as an artist. And in a way, that's the sort of story that anybody that's engaged in any sort of artistic endeavor like filmmaking, they're kind of like their greatest nightmare is that the person who is closest to you and loves you actually doesn't really like the work that you've done.
And what was it like working on this film and bringing together, Julia, like such a great comedic actress from the US, together with Tobias, who we've seen do dramatic stuff, but also hilarious, comedies too. What a match made in heaven. So what was it like working with
them? Working on a comedy like this with kind of comic geniuses is super fun. First of all, part of it has to do with making sure that the atmosphere on set is something that can allow people to feel comfortable about improvising and about kind of taking things in directions that you didn't think they would go in, and having the best of their work. Working on a comedy is fun because you just laugh a lot, and making that with them, and especially with someone like Julia and someone like Nicole, who are kind of separated at birth in a way, is pure joy.
And what do you hope people can take away from watching the film? Like you say, maybe we've kind of been missing out on some sort of like all-out comedies in theatres recently, so it's great to see these kind of things come back. But it's also a really interesting idea, to truly love someone, should you be completely honest?
Yeah.
Or actually, to love someone, should you, poke them in cotton wool and never let them know the truth about themselves? So, maybe it'll get people thinking.
No, I think that's one of the fun aspects of the movie, is that it's something that we can all relate to, is how honest can you actually be with the person that you're the closest to in your life emotionally, and does it take a little bit of lying every now and then just to kind of maintain the love?
Do you have a favorite scene in the film when you watch it back now?
Yes. I think there's lots of really fun scenes in it, and there's lots of laughter throughout the movie. One of the really fun aspects of the movie is that Tobias plays a therapist, and who's kind of, in a way, like Julia is struggling with her work in the movie. Tobias's character is struggling with his work in the movie, and none of the clients that he has, he doesn't seem to break through or help any of them. And he's kind of wondering, in the same way that he didn't think his wife's book was very good, that maybe he's not very good either. And I think that's something we can all identify with.
And to come back to this point about comedies, I mean, there was recently one with Jennifer Lawrence, sorry, that I was watching, and I do feel like there's kind of this thing in the air at the moment. It's like, what is it that we're kind of a bit hesitant to make comedies anymore? Do you think there's something in our political atmosphere with social media, how polarized things can become, that comedy, you know, whether that's in the US or in the UK, we're finding it harder to navigate, but actually it doesn't mean we should stop trying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a question that I've heard a lot about. Is like, are we now too aware of the sensitivities around us to laugh at them? And hopefully that's breaking down a little bit. I mean, we need humor in our lives, and and I think the question of like where comedies are placed in our world is important, because it allows us to kind of look at ourselves in a critical and humorous way, which we need in order to function as human beings. So hopefully, movies like No Hard Feelings, or whether it's a raunchy movie or whether it's a sophisticated comedy, can help us kind of like turn around and loosen up a little bit and help us laugh.
Absolutely. Good note to end on. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with us, and really enjoy your time here at Sundance London.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. Lovely to chat to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.